Hello, 8th grade. I am going to show you how to make a nice graph using Google Sheets. For this lab, you need to make two graphs, one for your white sand environment and one for your brown sand environment. So I've created a spreadsheet for each of you where you will simply input your data from part 1 in cells B and C, and for part 2 in cells G and H. So remember, Part one's environment was a white sand environment. So we started with a population of mice that in that first generation should have added up to 25. So I have input just a random set of numbers. I've kind of made my data up. But this was what I started with in generation 1. I had 20 mice that were white and 5 mice that were brown. In generation 2, I had 18 white mice and only 2 brown mice. And in generation 3, I started with 14 white and 1 brown mice. So now I'm going to graph this. It's pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select cells A1 through A4 and all the way over to C4. And you can see that it kind of highlights this in a light blue color. Then you go up to Insert and go down to where it says Chart and click that. And there it pops up. It took a minute. But there is my nice created graph for me. Now, I am not quite done yet because there are some things here that I need to change. There's some things that are missing in my graph, one of which is the title. The title of this says population white mice, population brown mice. I want you to change that so we know what environment it is that this is graphed. So this is going to be my population of mice in a white sand environment. And when I click on that, it gives me a nice title. Zoom out here a little bit so you guys can see. Oh, wrong way. Okay. Now you can see that my x-axis is labeled generation, and I have my first generation data here, my second generation, and my third generation. I have a key that tells me my blue bars are white mice and my red bars are brown mice. And I would like to change those colors so that they make a little bit more sense. So I am going to go up here to Series, and I am going to go to Apply to All Series, and I want to collect or select population of white mice. And then I have this little menu here that shows me right now it's blue. I am going to change that so it shows up more like a white color, which that's kind of a silverish white color. We'll go with that. And then I would go to where it says series again and click on the brown mice. And I think it would be logical to make this a brown color. And so now I have my white mice one color, my brown mice another color. I have my title. I have an axis here for my x-axis that's labeled generation, but you'll notice that it is missing a y-axis. So I need to go up here to where it says chart and axis titles and click on my vertical axis title, and then I can input what I want that to say. So our vertical axis, our y-axis, is showing us the number of mice. So that would be what we want that to say. And then I am pretty much done. I have my graph here for this white sand environment, and now I would do the same exact thing. Up here, I'm going to input my data for the starting population of white mice in the brown sand environment and the starting population of brown mice in that brown sand environment for each generation. and you would do the same exact thing that we did over here and create a graph directly underneath to compare the two. So let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, I will be around. But use this tutorial to kind of teach yourself how to create a Google graph out of a Google Sheet.